All right, we're going to talk about the reports that Shane Stoken and Chris Ballard are being retained by the Indianapolis Colts. They've decided to move forward with what they got. I got a bit of a problem with that. I've got a feeling that most of you have a problem with that as well. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what the last 9 years have been like for the Indianapolis Colts. And from a record perspective, we're going to forgive Chris Ballard 2017 because nobody other than Curt Cignetti can put together a roster that's going to go from here to there in just 1 year. Chris Ballard got it right with Andrew Luck as the quarterback, and then got it right a little bit with Phillip Rivers as the quarterback in 2020. Other than that, he hasn't been able to put on the field a quarterback that you can count on to win games at the level necessary to go to the playoffs. That's it with Chris Ballard. Shane Stoken, different issue. You can't win without a solid quarterback position. Without somebody at quarterback you can win with, it is really hard to win in the NFL. So Shane Stoken being kept, I think Carly Irsay-Gordon, if these reports are accurate, and it's Ian Rappaport, and it's Schefter, and it's Stephen Holder, so you got to believe all three of them guys aren't going to get it wrong. So we're going to go ahead and assume that this is a correct and accurate report. And we'll find out at 2:30 today, by the way, as Carly Irsay-Gordon talks to the media. We'll go ahead and assume this is correct, and I'll tell you why it's reasonable to believe that keeping Shane Stoken is the right thing to do while getting rid of Chris Ballard would also be the right thing to do. But the thing that's not going to be done, as Carly Irsay-Gordon gives a rubber stamp to what has been going on here for the last 9 years, there is going to be a 10th year of Chris Ballard as the GM of the Indianapolis Colts, which is astounding to me. I kind of can't believe it. We're going to talk about the Indiana Hoosiers. While they prepare for the Peach Bowl down in Atlanta against Oregon, by the way, Indiana 4-point favorite. I'm not saying it's a gift yet, but it's getting close to being a gift. While they're preparing for that, they're also getting big work done on the transfer portal level, where they are not going to rest on their laurels being here and where they're going to go this season. They're going to try to run it back next season with a new group of transfers as we likely say goodbye to Fernando Mendoza and Omar Cooper, and certainly say goodbye to Aiden Fisher and Mikhail Kamara. Also likely D'Angelo Pons, Hemby, Black, they're both gone. Also Surratt, also gone. Coogan, gone. So you're losing a significant group of guys who have led Indiana into this position as potential national champions. What they got ahead of them is pretty substantial, right? They got to win 2 more games. We'll see if they can do that. And then it'll be time to talk about them running back a national champion. And all of a sudden, the kind of banner you never thought was going to be hung at Memorial Stadium. I don't even know where they put banners at Memorial Stadium, but they'll find somewhere to put a national championship banner should they win one. You can bet your ass on that. The Indiana Hoosiers, the basketball version, they won last night against Washington at Simon Scott Assembly Hall. They won 90-80. And really 2 reasons. Tatum Conaway shot out of his mind in the first half, and Trent Sisley had a 10-0 personal run last night that gave you a glimpse as to the kind of player that he can be. The Pacers, they lost again. Last night they lose 135-127. Benedict Mathurin is going to be out an extended period of time with a sprained thumb and some turf toe. Doesn't bother me in the least. You'd love to have a bunch of guys healthy, but you know what? Not having them healthy, if that gets you the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, hey, you know what? Take your time getting things straight and getting back on the court, Benedict. Thank you very much. This is Breakfast with Kent for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Brought to you by the great people at Today's Dentistry, Dr. Mike O'Neill, the best dentist in the land. So you give him a call and you say, Dr. Mike, you got room in your schedule? No? Well, I know Kent. Well, thank you. I got a hole in my mouth. Oh, so you got a hole in your schedule? Awesome. 317-849-2933, the number. Make sure and become a member. We had a kind of a false public members only coffee with Kent on Saturday morning because I forgot to hit the members only thing. So I was open to everybody for about 12 minutes. Then we shut it down. We did another 30 minutes. It was just Q&A and Q&A, and had a great time. Become a member, and you have the ability to audit or participate. We encourage participation. Plus, you become a subscriber, and you got a chance to get your ticket up on the fabulous prize wheel and win a prize. You must be a subscriber in order to get a prize, to be a winner. All right? No prize today. But you can enter to win a prize. Go IU is the phrase that pays. So enter Go IU. I write your name down on a ticket. I put the ticket in the incredible prize bucket. We draw 10 out. We affix them to the fabulous prize wheel when we are ready to give away yet another prize. Smash the like button, and if you want to make a donation, no big whoop like PJ has, and please include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. Will you? PJ did that. I really thought Carly would be a different owner than her dad. Ballard must be the smoothest talker ever. So frustrating. Hire Ballard. We're going to go right over that, PJ. I think it's hard to imagine that as the result of another 8-9 season, the Colts have either been 8-9 or 9-8 in 4 of the last 5 years, and that excuses the 2022 year. Excludes it. What were they, 4-12-1? That's a terrible year. All hell broke loose. Frank Reich getting fired mid-season, Jeff Saturday being hired. That didn't go well, and all of a sudden you wind up nosediving, and that's how that season wound up where it was. 9-8, 8-9 for 4 of those 5 years, not good enough. You had plenty of opportunities to do all kinds of things, to get the quarterback position right, to get the defense right, and nothing works. Didn't matter. Lose Matt Eberflus, replace him with Gus Bradley. Same defense. Lose Gus Bradley, replace him with Lou Anarumo, a guy with a completely different ideology. Same defense, basically. The offense, under Shane Stoken, steps up a little bit. Front seven is horrendous. Front seven is not good. Kwity Paye, it was hard to tell he was on the field yesterday. Latu got hurt yesterday, had a hip, made a couple of plays. Grover Stewart, kind of a non-factor yesterday. DeForest Buckner out with that neck. Will he return? They expect him to. And then you got 2 linebackers. Jermaine Pratt actually played pretty well after he was acquired. Not so great yesterday. And then you've got Zaire Franklin, who continues to get snap after snap. And he played pretty well yesterday, to tell you the truth. But he's a part of the problem, not a part of the solution. Then on the back end, you had guys covering people, and Cam Bynum looked like he was kind of ready for this season to end, to tell you the truth. Nick Cross kept whacking guys, which I like. I like Nick Cross. You got to sign him as a free agent. But Chris Ballard must have presented some kind of a plan, some kind of architectural masterpiece of a drawing to show why these first 9 years, 7 of those 9 years being the fault of Chris Ballard and the roster, why this is going to change suddenly in 2026. The Colts, again, have been 8-9 or 9-8 in 4 of the last 5 years. They are 66, 65-1 over the last 8 years. We're going to excuse 2017. That tells you what this franchise is. Also, how many times have the Colts won the AFC South since Ballard got here? Exactly none. Go back 2 years prior to that. Haven't won since then. 11 years, they have not won an AFC South championship. Everybody else in the division, 3 of the worst franchises in the NFL, they've won the division at least twice each. That's crazy. Colts have not won it once. And somehow you think it's not time for a change. I know what they say about NFL owners. they are best just stay in the office, don't do anything. You're more likely to screw it up by making changes, uninformed changes, than you are to fix stuff. I get it. I understand that. But sometimes you got no one to switch. You got no one to flip the switch and change things up. This is not working. Nobody thinks this is working. No one. There is no reason to suggest that after 9 years, suddenly this thing is ready to pivot toward excellence in a 10th year and beyond. I don't understand that kind of logic. We're going to be able to ask Carly Irsay-Gordon about that kind of logic this afternoon at 2:30, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity. Not quite the longest playoff drought in Colts history, though, in the Indianapolis era. 1988 to 1994, they did not go to the playoffs for 7 consecutive years. Leaving things as they are welcomes more of the same. That's first rule of management. You get what you tolerate. That's another rule of management. Change is required, and that change is meaningless if not at the top. All else is negotiable for this team. But there's going to be, according to reports, no change at the top. Now let's talk about Steichen. Under Steichen, points scored has risen 107 points from 22 to 23, declined 19 points from 23 to 24, and then jumped 59 this year back to the level where it was at under Frank Reich in 20 and 21. Steichen is getting some stuff done. Is he a little bit too clever for the room once in a while? Yeah, he is. But that's the fun. That's his kind of reward for being the head coach. He enjoys that. We're naive if we think Carly isn't contacting other owners and seeking counsel on when to fire GMs and head coaches. That may be true. But you've also got, these guys didn't make billions of dollars and aren't in charge of billion-dollar businesses because they don't get a competitive advantage, right? The competitive advantage in this case is maybe feeling Carly a bunch of nonsense and getting her to do exactly the wrong thing at the wrong time as the steward of this franchise. That could very well be, could it not? Happy New Year. The Colts have become the very definition of insanity. Look, Carly, here's my 10-year plan on making the playoffs. Yeah, that's exactly right. Here's the quarterback situation for the Colts over the last 5 seasons. This past year, Jones started 13 games, Rivers 3, and Leonard 1. In 24, Richardson started 11, Flacco 6. In 23, Minshew, 13 starts, Richardson 4. In 22, Ryan 12, Ellinger 3, Foles 2, and in 21, Wentz all 17. If you get a guy to start all 17, you really wonder about Carson Wentz. I was not a fan of Carson Wentz, but should they have kept Carson Wentz? It's hard to argue that they should not have. Isn't it? Don't you think? I assume that the chief selling point for Chris Ballard as he looks ahead to 26 and somehow compelled Carly Irsay-Gordon to believe that he's the right guy to fix what is broken is that guys are going to get healthy. Mooney Ward's going to get healthy. DeForest Buckner's going to get healthy. Sauce Gardner's going to get healthy. You're going to get Anthony Richardson going to get healthy to the extent that matters. Daniel Jones is going to get healthy. And you're going to fix this roster somehow, some way. I don't know how you do that without a first-round draft pick in 26 and 27. I don't know how you do that without fundamentally changing the construct of this roster into something or away from something that Chris Ballard built into something that he's going to build anew. I don't know why you would think that the guy who built this, which has not succeeded, is going to be the guy to tear it down and build it toward what it needs to be. Toby says, but based on the current playoff picture, they have a very easy schedule in 2026. That never bears out. You never know. Like, they got to play 4 games against the Jags and the Texans, right? They do play, the NFC East, and who they get in the AFC East also, maybe? I don't know. But whatever this is, in ease of schedule aside, thinking you're going to go to the playoffs and win a championship because of ease of schedule is naive. Charles Hill says, will they let Pierce go somewhere else? I do not re-sign him. I would re-sign him. Alec Pierce is a number one. He had over 1,000 yards this year as a guy who started the season probably the number 3 target. Yeah, okay, both the NFC East and the AFC East. The AFC East might not be any kind of picnic. Let's talk about Indiana football. They got this thing going. Trade Pittman. You're never going to be able to trade Pittman. I don't know what you'd get for Pittman at the age of 29 with his best years behind him. A $29 million ding against the cap this upcoming year. I don't know what you get for that. Josh Hoover has committed to Indiana. He is going to be a fifth-year senior. He played at TCU and was really pretty good this year. He's 6'2", 29 TDs, 13 interceptions, 3,472 yards. TCU is 9-4. Won a bowl against Southern Cal. That's a good thing. I don't remember the name of that bowl, but he didn't play in that bowl. Turbo Richard, he is from Boston College. He is a running back, 5'8", 207 pounds. He's committed, 145 carries, 749 yards, 9 touchdowns. How about Chaquan Sanks? He's a safety. He committed. Toby Asunsunmi, Asunsinmi, he is an edge from K-State. Nick Marsh, the wide receiver from Michigan State. We know him. Preston Zachman, the safety from Wisconsin. Really good. He's going to be good. He's going to be a difference maker for Indiana next year. Getting that work done. Looking forward to the Peach Bowl this Friday night. Indiana should win that game. They're not going to win it. I told you last week that IU was going to beat Alabama by 35. I said it was going to be 45-10. I didn't give the defense enough credit, and so it went, but I gave the offense too much credit. The offense didn't score 7 more than they should have, and Bama didn't score 7 more than I thought that they were going to be allowed to score. So 38-3, 35 points. I think this one against Oregon is a 13 to 17-point game. I think Oregon gets dinged a little bit because of the travel, moving 3 time zones to the east and a little bit to the south. I don't think that's going to be good for them. I think Indiana is in a really good spot from a health position. Stephen Daly, the one guy who's really I don't think he's got a chance to play through this thing. Curt Cignetti, the last time we heard about Stephen Daly, said probably not. Okay, that defense looked pretty damn good. The offense for Oregon is real. That defense, not so much. Indiana had their way with Oregon's defense in Eugene a couple of months ago, scoring 30 and allowing 20, but the offense only scored 13. 7 of the points that Oregon scored were via that pick 6. The only real mistake that Fernando Mendoza made this season. Indiana beat Washington last night 90-80. Connerway with 18 in the first half. He was really good. He came out of the gate firing. They were daring him to shoot. He shot, he made, and Indiana gets a win. Trent Sisley with a personal 10-0 run in the second half. The only points he scored were on that 10-0 run. He was really good and gave you a glimpse of what I think we're going to see for a while in Bloomington from Trent Sisley. As he continues to get better, you're going to see less maybe of Reed Bailey, and seeing less of Reed Bailey and more of Trent Sisley is going to make me personally very, very happy. Pacers lost last night to the Magic, 135-127. Mathurin done for a while with a sprained thumb that he's been battling with for a while, a turf toe, and so another injury bug bites the Pacers. This Wednesday, Hoosiers have got Maryland. So it's a busy week. Cannot wait. Let's celebrate some birthdays, shall we? Joy D., the great Ryan Marshall, celebrating a birthday. James Lawson, happy birthday. Mike Freeland, happy birthday. Hal Eichhorst, celebrating a birthday. Christy Robbins, celebrating a birthday. A lovely graduate of New Albany High School down there in far southern Indiana. The great Carl Fry celebrating a birthday. Patrick Boer, happy birthday. And James Lawson, happy birthday. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, you celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. Lift each other up. Don't pull each other down. Matherin has lost millions with his play this season. Hey, he's got a career high in points. He's got to stay healthy, though. Chris Ballard is a loser. I'm sitting on 2026 like I did when we had Carson Wentz. Not a loser, but not a winner. He's he's an in-betweener, right? 65, 66, and 1 minus that 2017 season. Toby says we're probably not going to hear anything real or legit about DJ until closer to draft days and training camp. Not important until then, at least that's what they think. They expect him to be ready for camp. That's real. Whether that comes to pass, that's a different thing. He wants to be back for OTAs. I don't think they're going to allow that. Leonard might be our starter next year if Jones is not ready to go. I think that would be a disaster. I think Jones is going to be ready to go. I would not move chips all in behind Riley Leonard. Although he was good yesterday, will Colts bring back Blake Groupie to compete with rehabbing Spencer Schrader? He was perfect for the Colts and made the tough ones hard to let him go. They would have to sign him to a real deal, right? Or he's going to sign as a free agent somewhere else. He didn't miss a kick. I like Spencer Schrader. I think Spencer Schrader, if he can get that knee right, if he can get that leg right, he is your guy. The same regime was saying ready for training camp with Andrew Luck, and look how that turned out. Yeah, this is a little bit different, I think. Daniel Jones is not Andrew Luck. Jones will be ready in 27, takes 2 years. Look at Rodgers. I don't think so. They've got a new kind of surgery that they do, and I think he's going to be able to play at least as well as he may not have like full whatever. Let's say Daniel Jones pre-injury could run a 4.6 40. I don't know whether he's going to be a 4.6 40 guy. You know what I mean? I don't know whether his high-end speed is going to be where it needs to be, but we're going to find out soon enough. As long as he can stand back there and make the throws he needs to make, I feel good about him. Not great because he can't stay healthy, but I feel good about him. You know, and if we're not going to feel good about him, who are we going to feel good about? We're not going to feel good about nothing if not good about him. That's T. Krabby. I wonder how this is going to hurt the ticket sales. Who will pay to watch a non-serious team? That's going to be interesting because you can't sell this to reasonable people. You can't sell the Colts as a legitimate AFC South contender, given 7 losses in a row at the end of the season and nothing changing. If you can't show change, you can't sell change. We're not idiots. We're not going to listen to Chris Ballard sell us a beater car later in the week and say, oh, you know what? Yes, we're not going to be Barney Fife with that old lady, where Mrs. What's-Her-Name, who sold Barney the old car with the sawdust in the gas tank, right? We're not going to be those people. We're not complete idiots. This has been 9 years of mediocrity. You're not going to sell us on a 10th year of excellence after 9 years of mediocrity. We're not dolts. But we will talk to you. Tony Dungy, Tony wouldn't do that. What Tony going to do that? Tony's making all the money he needs to without any of the headaches. Please. We'll talk to you this afternoon as Carly Irsay speaks and lets us know what she's thinking, which is going to be interesting. She hadn't talked much. We'll hear from her today.